Hi, I'm Gigi Rada Benitez, a licensed California real estate agent, as well as a certified international property specialist, here today to share information with you about how and why to invest in Dubai. I have a very special guest with us today from one of the top developers in Dubai, Sobha, Kseniya. Please welcome Kseniya to our show. Over the past year, one of my favorite aspects of this entire business that I'm doing of connecting the United States to Dubai real estate is understanding who the big players are and establishing really strong relationships with them. And it's been really quite joyful to get to know you, Kseniya. I find you so fun. You educate me sometimes, in the no-nonsense way, different way. But I find you so raw and amazing and smart and sassy and hardworking and responsive. And you've taught me so much. And so I really, really enjoyed you. And you came out to San Diego and I got to introduce you to some of my investors there. But I have enjoyed you and getting to understand your personal story as someone who lived in the United States and made the move to Dubai. And I want to get into that before we get into Sobha. So tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to Dubai.
Okay. I was born in Russia. Then we used to live in California, in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills, then moved to Dubai. So my mom, she came back. She still lives in California, but me personally, I like to live here. I like how the city is, very vibrating. I believe you notice it. Vibrating, dynamic, and it's like, for me, this is the best city in the world.
How many years have you been here now?
16.
16 years.
Yeah.
So you have the choice to live in, I believe your mom lives in Beverly Hills area, right?
Yeah.
And you lived there for how many years?
For 7.
And then you have the choice between the two, and I know you come back and visit, but you prefer Dubai.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between USA and UAE, but I prefer to live here. Again, it is very, for me, it's very understandable market. It's very, I 100% understand what I'm doing here. 100% I see myself in this city and what input I give and what input.
Both. Right? It's reciprocal that you have, that you are an expert at what you do. You've worked your way up. And then actually this was really interesting when you were telling me your story that you started in construction here, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, because that's fascinating. A woman in construction in Dubai.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I started as a sales manager, account manager in one construction company together with one woman who actually already used to work in this field. Me, never. I'm not an engineer. So as you know, my education in show business. So I'm not an engineer. Obviously I didn't know nothing about construction. So her brother opened a company for her to start this thing. And so basically we started together. I was doing sales and she obviously was doing a lot of company establishment, a lot of things. So construction company, we were doing not the major construction, the minor construction, which is kind of like exhibition stands, some interior jobs and stuff like that. So in a year and a half, we became top 5 key players in Abu Dhabi market and top 6 players in Dubai market. And for you to understand with who we were competing, with the companies who built Dubai, companies who 50 years out of 50, 55, 56 years Dubai, so 50 years here. And so, we've been competing with them. For 1.5 years, I was doing sales. We became key players.
Incredible. And from that, then you transitioned into working with Sobha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to back it up a little bit, part of my journey is to really understand who the top developers are, because there are so many developers, and it can be quite confusing because I'm really dealing with the foreign investors that just hear about Dubai but don't know one developer from the other. They may hear some of the names that you see on the buildings that have been here for so long, but they get confused, and they're being marketed to in the United States and Canada by different names, and they don't necessarily understand who has the stronger reputation and why to choose one over the other. And what I've definitely learned in my research from coming over to your experience studio, from working with you, from seeing the projects you've developed, is that Sobha is reputable, high reputation for quality, high quality craftsmanship from the palace maker, and what's really important from an investor standpoint, delivering on time. And this, if you ask anybody in Dubai, that is what makes Sobha unique and different, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the founder of Sobha and how he was known to be the palace maker.
Yeah. So a little bit, going to tell you a little bit again about myself. So I was doing construction 4 years.
Okay.
And obviously I won, for these 4 years, I won a lot of tenders, starting with all governmental entities.
Okay. The whole process, yes.
All government entities, you see, let's say Dubai Municipality, Dubai Police, I won all these tenders. RTA.
Oh, wow.
Going to, let's say, developers, because we have exhibitions called Cityscape. So on Cityscape, you have all these exhibition stands. So Damak, Imar, I've built for them. I won all tenders within these 4 years, but not Sobha. Why? Because they have their own production and own construction.
Interesting.
I was trying so hard, working on this account, but I just couldn't win. All the time I get this response, we have our own construction, we don't need it. Okay, we give you tender, but I don't think so you're gonna win it, because we have our own construction, obviously our cost and our quality, we just cannot compromise giving some third-party company. So obviously after 4 years, I was done with construction, and by that time, all these companies, let's say developers, the market, they all knew I'm an incredible sales.
Okay.
So I was, I got invited for a couple of interviews, job interviews. I came to interview first. You have in the big structures, you have certain circles of first
levels,
HR,
the
HR,
first,
then head of HR, then this. By the time you reach, let's say, your director, it takes some levels. So obviously I came, they said first circle, he told me first round, he told me okay, why should we take you? And I was yeah, because I closed that many deals in this market that probably you couldn't even dream of. And he's it's not and your CV is very confusing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he's your CV is very confusing because obviously I moved a lot.
Yes.
And I lived here, I was born in Russia, and then what did you do in US and why you live here? So CV is very confusing. Which deals exactly you close is absolutely, it's not non-real estate deals. So I don't think so.
And you landed it.
We took it forward.
How many years have you been in Sobha?
4.
4 years. And by the way, that means a lot, right? Because one thing I noticed in the real estate agencies here is that because so many people want to be a real estate agent and move here from all over the world to make that Dubai dream, right?
Yeah.
Because it is such a lucrative business and top sector that there seems to be a lot of how do you explain that? Turnover. So I'll talk to somebody and then 3 months later that person's not there, or 6 months later they're not there.
Yeah. This is exactly what's going on in Dubai real estate market.
And so that's why for me, I'm making sure that one of my first questions to everyone I work with is, how long have you been here?
Yeah.
Because I also don't want to invest, my time and energy, get to know you, and then I call you and you're not even there anymore. So I love the fact that not only have you been there so long, but you've moved the ranks up and now you are the sales director, right?
Yes.
So you have your team of sales managers and your work ethic is unparalleled. I think that's something you and I have bonded over, right? We are no nonsense, you and I.
Yeah, that's my favorite word.
That's my favorite word, by the way, now. We are no nonsense, and your work ethic is incredible. And I love your personal story. I love that you are multicultural, Russian, lived in America, lives in Dubai, chooses Dubai for the lifestyle and the business, and you're a businesswoman. You were supposed to go into medicine, right? Isn't that Because your
No, my mom
your mom's a
my
doctor,
mom
right?
wanted me to
Yes,
go, but
you did it. Yeah.
It's so hard for nothing.
Yes,
because
and look
I
at
know
what
I
you're
wouldn't become I wouldn't become something really big, and if I wouldn't, then why would I
Why
even
put the time
start?
into it?
Why would I even start? Yeah,
And
yeah.
so obviously you found your niche. Now, I'm going to show a little bit of the video of the experiential studio, and I actually want to do a whole thing on that, because what I love about Sobha is that you're very transparent with what's behind the wall.
Yeah.
Right? And you
Yeah.
show that you have the 7 layers and why those
Yeah.
7 layers are important, right? Like for being waterproof and soundproof and all this about quality. So, Kseniya, knowing that Sobha is probably one of the highest quality, and I'm sure you would say the highest, right?
It is. It is.
Explain to us, why is that important for an investor, for an American investor, a Canadian investor? Why should that be versus picking maybe another project that's less expensive but is not reputable for their quality? Explain to our viewers why that's important.
Yeah. Again, because Dubai is very dynamic, very fast-growing city, super fast-growing city. Obviously, the all construction, it's just tick, 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 very quickly, very fast. And obviously, you have to compromise something. Either you compromise a little bit on quality, maybe not a little bit. Someone compromise not a little bit, but you have to compromise something because you have to deliver a lot of buildings, a lot of apartments in very short period of time.
Yes.
Yeah. Not like, for example, in Russia, they can take like their time up to 20 years, which is absolutely fine, But in Dubai, no. So you have to 1, 2, 3 years. You have maximum 3 years. You have to deliver some high-rise building.
And that's the average, by the way, 3 years for an off-plan project,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for Sobha, not for others.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
No, within 1.5 year up to 3 years, I
Okay.
would say.
Yes.
I would say. So why quality is important for investors? First of all, what your investor planning to do with this property? So are they gonna rent it, or they gonna flip it, resell it later on once it's ready, or they're gonna rent a little bit and then resell? So if I'm gonna rent it, as you know, in Dubai, we don't have any kind of taxes except 4%, which goes to DLD. Don't have any type of taxes. So you basically just have to pay service charge, which is
What's the average service charge?
It is 19 dirhams per square foot. Basically, you can choose. You can pay it quarterly, but normally
or you can pay it yearly, which is
people pay.
extremely very inexpensive. So it's maintenance charge in the United States, service charge
usually
here.
Beachfront properties, they have high service
that makes
charge
sense.
because of the sea.
Yep.
But if it's somewhere in the center also it depends. If it's service apartment, if it's non-service apartment, it's like kind of hotel apartment. So obviously in hotel apartment will be higher service charge because you have all these hotel facilities.
Sure, and the amenities,
valet,
etc.
amenities and stuff like that. So after your investor pay the service charge for the property, he gets net profit.
Okay.
Net profit.
Okay.
So from this net profit, if, for example, he rents it, he has to pay maintenance if something goes wrong with the property. And this is where all expenses start. Because if, for example, there is the leakage, if there is constant leakage, like I had in my property, like obviously from other developer, I had in my property AC leaking all the time. After 6 months, property, we got handover. After 6 months, AC started to leak and it would never stop. We had every day all these labors in the house, every day. So obviously, who's gonna pay? The owner gonna pay.
Right.
So it reduces your net profit. This is why some investors come and they say, I don't care about quality. Why are you showing me this experience center? Because I'm not planning to live in it. Yes, you're not planning to live in it, but whoever gonna live in it, you're gonna pay for it.
Exactly.
You're gonna pay for it. And if you want good maintenance company, you're gonna pay expensive sometimes. So I know the story. I met these people whose service charge plus maintenance cost was higher than
what they were profit.
Yes, than the profit, than the price that they rented the property.
Exactly.
So this is crazy.
So
this is why this is very important. This is number one.
Plus for resale.
So to whom you're going to resell? You're going to resell to another investor who's gonna rent it later on, because if they're gonna flip it, they will come to developer and buy. So they will buy from, let's say, second hand. Just if they're gonna put it for rent
and then rent it out. Yes.
Yeah, or to end user. End user is the person who's going to live there themselves.
Which that's getting higher and higher, right? The amount of end users now that are purchasing.
Yeah, of course,
because of the population growth.
Yeah, because of the easy mortgage now.
Yes.
Also, they give mortgage
Yes.
for
Exactly.
non-resident. So obviously, people think, okay, why would I rent and pay this crazy money for the rental if I'm already here? For example, live 5 years. Doesn't look like I'm gonna live anytime soon.
Like you.
So yeah.
So
doesn't look like. So I'd rather pay,
purchase
let's say,
it
more
and have
mortgage
that's growing.
Yes.
Yeah,
and pay for my apartment.
Yes, exactly.
But again, to pay for my apartment, I will choose very wisely for what I'm paying because
Exactly.
I don't want to pay. I don't want to take mortgage for 25 years and then in 2 years the property just,
So
falling down.
So we're talking
Just falling
about
apart.
the increased ROI because you have less maintenance charges because it's high quality, and then the resale. And if you're reselling it to people that live here in Dubai, so let's say an American or a Canadian buys a property, they want to make sure that there's a long-term strategy if they're not, when they're ready to flip it. People here know Sobha. Sobha is a known name, and it's correlated with quality. It's correlated with craftsmanship. You have that reputation and customer service.
Yes, and backward integration that we have everything in-house. In-house. So we have factories, we have our own production. Yes, obviously we outsource some things like appliances. Let's say if it's Siemens appliances or Miele appliances, we don't produce.
Yeah, but it's still top name appliances.
Yeah. Because we can afford it because we have our own construction. Because usually when you come to developer, so the construction company, developer name, it's two different names. Usually construction company is some third party company. Why all, let's say, delays happen in by the time of handover? Why a lot of developers delay the buildings? Because okay, so they come, construction company cannot do it on time, so they fight, they apply, let's say they file the case in the court takes 8 months, and then you cannot access your own construction, and all
and of course
this,
you know this because you've had experience with this, okay?
Yeah, so all these circumstances, then 2 years delay, 3 years delay. We really have projects in Dubai. Obviously, I wouldn't tell you the name, but we have projects in Dubai which been delayed 8 years and 10 years.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about.
For Dubai, Imagine 10 years for Dubai, which is just 55 years.
Yes.
It's like 1/4, right?
Yeah.
It's like quarter of life of the city itself. So obviously your interiors look old because today Dubai, it's not yesterday's Dubai.
Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to have you on to share again your personal journey, because I admire you and just adore you, and the professional aspect of our relationship, of helping guide my investors about why Sobha is one of the top developers that I recommend from an investor. Obviously, you already know for the end users that are moving here that you have that great solid market, but just letting the Americans and the Canadians know that this is someone to get on your radar. And in another interview, we can talk about your upcoming projects, which I share a lot about in my newsletters and on my Instagram, and the availabilities that you have in some of the current projects. We could spend a whole half an hour talking about Heartland and the lagoons that you're creating, the crystal lagoons, and the whole master community and the top British schools that you have there, and for why that's important with the population migration, why that community that you're creating with the greenery and the sustainability and the ease of transportation to the rest of Dubai, and how that's such an incredible area.
But
right?
all Sobha projects is in prime location. Prime location.
That's important. Like
Seahaven. This is very important. You
is,
remember what first I told you when I met you?
Tell me.
When you choose the property in Dubai, you have to consider 3 points. And you were like,
tell me.
Okay, which ones?
Yes.
It's like location.
Yes. Location.
Because otherwise, if you go wrong with location, you just have like house in Dubai. That's it. That's it. It doesn't work. Your money is not working. The property is not working. It just wouldn't work.
So let's close this up then with the top locations that Sobha is in.
Yeah. Which is Master Community Hartland and Hartland II. Why it is top location? Because it's Mohammed bin Rashid city, and as you know, Mohammed bin Rashid is our president of Dubai. So obviously nothing bad will get this name. And on top of it, it's just 5 to 7, maximum 10 minutes from downtown Burj Khalifa Dubai Mall, which is like obviously very crowded area, very dynamic area. Not a lot of people want to live, and it's like kind of now it's kind of stone jungles.
Yes.
And after pandemic again, as you know, all fashion change towards community living because people realize how important it is just to have a building and the highway. How important
you want the whole, the amenities, the retail
exactly.
stores, the grocery store right there, the gyms right there, clubhouse, all of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is definitely prime location. And by the way, Mohammed bin Rashid City at the moment for the past 2 years, and at the moment is the highest rental return. So me personally, I buy only in that area.
Highest rental return.
Only that area. Compared to the purchase price.
Got it.
Compared to purchase price.
Okay.
So for example, if you're talking, I was recently buying an apartment and I wanted to buy in the beachfront.
Okay.
Not I mean in the Mar beachfront.
Okay.
And the beach.
Okay.
The property costed 2 million for one bedroom with one bathroom.
2 million dirhams.
Is already big minus.
Okay.
Because it's for me, because I don't see, for me, I wouldn't rent one bedroom with one bath. So for me, it's like completely no, and it's 2 mil just because it's next to the sea. And basically you can rent it 120,000 dirhams yearly, which is around 5% rental return.
Okay, which is still high, by the way.
Which is still high.
It's very high.
Compared to other countries.
Compared to the US and what I'm dealing with in California, it's very high.
Yes.
Okay, but compared to Heartland?
And then it's not a Heartland. So I bought in neighborhood.
Okay.
And so it's 10%. So it's the same rental return, 130,000 per year, but I bought it 1.350.
Yes.
50.
So 10%.
1.3 million. So it is 10%.
Incredible. That is huge
10%.
news. Okay, so Heartland, what other are your top locations?
Okay, so another project which we have in Jumeirah Lake Towers, which is GLT, which is absolutely established area. It's very popular area. It's not new area. It's established, so we have a tower over there. We have villas community. Now people also change their mindset towards villas because...
yes, actually, if you could track now, the purchase of villas has significantly increased.
Exactly. And we can compare it with our first community, which is Heartland.
Okay.
Literally, villas increased and price increased from 40% starting. So my client who bought 2 years back villa for 12.6 million sold last year for 20 mil, which is
important
50%.
Important to know for people that ask, well, is this the height? It is not. This Dubai is not in a bubble according to the UBS bubble index. That Dubai is still considered a fair buy because still price per square footage is still quite affordable, especially compared to all the top luxury real estate markets internationally. And you have the population increase. You have Dubai being a top tourist destination. You have the casinos coming out today. It was announced that now you have the MGM and the Aria that are coming in Vegas style casinos right next to the Burj Al Arab. So what is that going to continue to draw? So there's still this opportunity. It may not be the same increase in price per square foot that you've had for the past 2 years, but it's still projected to be significantly higher than, for example, California.
Other markets. Yeah. So for the past 2 years, this massive increase was just because it was a pandemic, right?
Yes.
So obviously the market a little bit dropped.
Right during the pandemic.
During pandemic, but still Dubai and UAE in general is, I consider it #1 country who get out of pandemic with the very less outgoings.
Yes.
Compared to, let's say, Los Angeles until now. So
they were still suffering.
Yeah, still suffering until now.
Yes.
Compared to UK.
And I said this in my last interview. Why is that important for foreign investors? It's that safety of your investment. That Dubai was able to recover so quickly. What you guys were for 1 month, I think, only that you had to stay home. That's it. And what does that mean? That businesses, the real estate market, personally, lifestyle, was not affected. And that was a disaster that was unpredicted. Who could have known? But because Dubai runs like a business, because it's so efficient, and you were able to recover quickly, right?
Yeah.
So going to the prices, though, there's still significant room and projections for that increase.
I will tell you why.
Tell me.
Because we still didn't reach price per square foot compared to 2014.
You're not even close.
At least you'll have to reach this point because
Got it.
market is not static; it goes up and down.
Yes.
Right? So at least you'll have to reach that point.
Okay.
And then then we can start talking about
balancing,
kind of bubble, kind of balancing.
Sure.
But so far it's nothing like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and population growing, and we have, if you've seen you can see it in internet, Sheikh Mohammed development plan called 2040.
Yes.
So it's going to continue growing. It's going to continue bring a lot of people, a lot of investors. And after pandemic, a lot of international big companies open a branch in Dubai or in UAE in general.
Yes.
Open it or move their business or relocate the business.
I believe it's like 75% of Fortune 500 companies now have their headquarters here. So Dubai has become the global business hub.
This is global market, 100%.
And DIFC is
International Financial Center.
So it's drawing businesses here, right? And so that's the population, business, global hub, where East meets West. It's incredible. And then you have the D33 plan. So your GDP continues to increase. Your economy is stable and safe. And there's so much promise here for investors. Got to wrap it up, but I want to come back and circle back to, we talked about Heartland. We talked about JLT. What are there any other neighborhoods when you talk about prime locations that you want to discuss about where Sobha is?
We can discuss about Sobha 1, which look like Royal Atlantis.
Okay.
And we can absolutely gonna discuss Sobha Reserve, which is villa community. It's a little bit further. Obviously, it's villa community. It cannot be
so it's going to be more of an suburban life. Yes.
Yeah, right next to Burj Khalifa.
Yes.
But it is good community compared to what we have so far in Dubai.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, well, thank you, Kseniya. I feel like we need to do a couple more interviews because there's so many questions I have, but you're one of my favorites, and I'm glad you took the time, and congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And thank you for all of your time educating me so I can continue to educate my investors.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you are securing valuable information out of my podcast and YouTube series. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share.